Here's the fun one that I really want to get into, which is the myth that you need a big social following to succeed. And I know that at least half the audience just had some sort of a combination of a faint, a stroke, or a heart attack. But yes, Gary Vee may not be 100% right about everything. Why don't you need a big social media following to succeed in the real estate business?
Well, I think you're wrong there. I think you do need a big social media following to like get on the stage at Tom Ferry or something.
That well said. Very well said.
I think for the business, at least in my local market, DC is a little bit of a different beast because it's so, it's a political thing. It's a transient market. Looking at the solo agents, I think the top 5 that I've seen the last time I checked Real Trends, none of them had any real estate content on their social media at all. And some of them, I didn't even have a social media presence whatsoever. Yeah. It goes back to the Cal Newport book, which was like a Steve Martin reference of like, be so good they can't ignore you. Like if you're truly good at your job and if you're focusing on the work that's currently on your desk and doing an incredible job for that person, everything else is just noise. And that's where you can really prosper as just a repeat and referral type agent. There's just some people like myself, I'm not great at social media. So it's not hard for me to use that as a myth or misconception because of course I want to throw anything that I'm not great at under the bus.
Right. Yeah.
Which a lot of agents do. They'll say like why this doesn't work or that doesn't work. I know agents get business from it, but they tend to focus on just last month, I just got a buyer that came from my social media because they met me and my authentic self. And I believe that. I know that they're telling the truth, but like the amount of time that they're spending creating this content and creating and thinking about it, not just creating it and engaging, the algorithm is not going to promote your stuff unless you are constantly on the algorithm yourself. So if you're looking at like dollar productive activities, like there are a lot of other things that you could be doing that would be making you more money. And it doesn't mean that you have to do them. Like I don't want to call expired or canceled, but I know for a dollar productivity standpoint, that would be the best thing for me to do.
100%.
But yeah, that's kind of how I feel about social media in general. I throw it up there, but I'm not using it the way it's intended. Like Devin's always telling me it's called social media. Right. You're not supposed to just post your content and then like not engage with anybody. I'm like, then I'm in there for like an hour or two.
I mean, it's true. What most agents get is the advice on how to maximize social media. And my first question is always compared to what? Compared to what? Because if you picked up the phone and called 2 or 3 expired listings, you have a much better chance of putting money in your pocket than having 10,000 followers on Instagram. And it's an accomplishment. Like I see very few agents out there that have more than 10,000 followers on a platform like Instagram. You'd think there's a bunch out there. There's not. I guarantee you there's not. I've interviewed hundreds of agents over the years. And the dirty little secret is they will talk about it publicly one way. And then when I get the chance to grill them a little bit behind the scenes when we're not recording, they will admit, number one, the majority of the deals that they get from social media come from other agents, not from the general public, right? That comes from other agents referring them because the agents follow them on Instagram. And number two, it is never, ever, ever the primary source of business, ever, right? It's just always a sideline. It's always something they would be doing regardless. It's all this stuff, but when you actually get them down to it, it's never actually the primary way that they generate leads. It's just an add-on. So yeah, I think that's, I think that would be discouraging to a lot of people, but here's the positive spin on it. It's extremely hard right now to grow on social media. It just is, right? The competition is fierce. The competition, the best people that grow on social media right now are extremely energetic, outgoing people in their 20s who have lots of time and not a lot of money and not a lot of other responsibilities because they don't run a successful business. Anyway, but that's who your competition is.
No, I agree. But they're on stage saying like, you need to do whatever it is, like 10 people, comment 10 things, DM 10 things. I'm like, when do you have time for this? Like I'm busy.
Yeah. At least if you're successful, you get busy and then that's when it falls off. And it does work. Let me put it this way. That does work if you're using the social end of social media. That is not how most agents want social media to work. What they want to do is they want to put the media up there and have clients reach out to them and go, hey, I'd like to talk to you about buying or selling a home. That is not how social media works. You can do the social part, but if you don't do the social part, people do not proactively reach out to you. And that's the same across every industry. I have clients on the podcast side in a bunch of different industries. Social media doesn't work like that in any industry. Every once in a blue moon, you'll have somebody once a year who sees your social posts and just goes, you know what? I've been looking for this anyway. Let's talk. And that becomes then the success story that everybody hears about, and they miss the 100 other people that you could have taken on as clients, but they didn't hear from you because you weren't social and proactive to reaching out to them. So yeah, at the end of the day, it's better to be social than it is to be on social media.
But I will say, like, I think there is like, you could look at my social media feed and see, oh, well, he's like literally posting the stuff with no views that he's saying this is a misconception. So if you think it's a misconception, why are you doing it? Well, everything that I'm posting, I'm using it as a direct response ad. So there is a place for it to actually get business and get a target market. And that, in my opinion, is more on YouTube than it is Facebook and Instagram.